Listen, I am so excited about man, I just got out of a service. Oh my Lord, listen, this service was on a phone. No you seeing me. No, well, I don't never see the people when you're on live unless you bring somebody on with you. But on the phone, I mean, some church shouting and I'm talking about on the phone now, not in person. And I'm so grateful for that service and being invited and to hear. Man, it was a good service. But real quick, won't hold you long. Make sure to like us on Facebook and then share it because um, no matter what happens, I just believe somebody's getting blessed. You'd be surprised that you can learn from a dummy, isn't that right? You remember those two crash dummies back in the day? Uh, and they used to have that slogan, you can learn from a dummy. In fact, I've been tearing into this book right here. Look at that, Investing Dummies. But there's a little word for right there. And sometimes keeping it simple is just what we need. Genesis 3, 1 through 7. Not going to take time and read that, but it would be good if you could read that for yourself. Because you need to know what that says. I'm sure you've already read it, but I'll tell you what it starts out with. Now the serpent was more crafty or subtle, is what the King James Version said. And out of that, the subject that went forward on today was don't let the devil destroy your unity. Now, first of all, you'd have to have some unity in something in life to be able to say destroy it, because the truth of the matter is, everybody don't have unity. In fact, I'm just convinced that if certain things happen in certain people's lives, it just might fall apart because no unity. As a group of cultural people that I think about all the time when you are preaching the gospel and doing all that God that you run into when you're just preaching the gospel. You will often find that there's some people that you can't help. Don't matter what you do or say, no unity. And I must, everybody won't agree, but I must confess that even in a lot of our churches, you better believe that you will be able to find that there is division. So uncomfortable to talk about, don't like to hear it, because we want the church that's always doing what it's supposed to do. And we know that's a lie. So many lies that we tell ourselves, that we've been telling ourselves for years, and they just lies. And the master liar is Satan. And that's one way that I recognize Satan, when he rears his head and causes and division. It's a lack of unity. And if we were more clear and more loving, I just know we could have more unity than what we have. There's looks like uh, that all hope of any kind is gone if you don't have Christ and if you don't have in unity. But it's obvious the Lord is working. He's moving. I often tell people the church does not need my help, your help, or anybody's help to grow. The church is a living organism. It functions in livelihood. So it's going to do its thing regardless, because we are not in charge of the church. I think I'll say that again. It's a living organism. It doesn't need my help, your help, or anybody's help. It's God's church. He sent his only begotten son. So whoever believes in him should not perish and have everlasting life. So it's going to do what it's going to do. And that's why it really don't need any let me say this properly so we don't get to miss the church. uh when God's in charge and he is running things, we can't stop it. We can't hurt it. There's some people who are so greedy, so selfish, so self-serving, that of course, if it's not going their way, they can't run it. So they'll put a an I in the middle of the UI and they'll ruin it. But nonetheless, it's a living organism. It grows on its own. It's going to do that because God's will be done. But even in that, it's the truth of the matter is we have um, individuals, people, whatever we call them, in life that are used, and they're only used for self-seeking things. And that's the thing about being a pastor. Uh, Everybody will not make the decision that needs to be made to change some things because it'll hurt some people's feelings, and we get so caught up in traditional stuff sometimes that we are so stuck on the way we do it that that's all that matters. It don't matter if it's going to kill everything. It's done. I want it done this way, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. It can cause a state of confusion. That there are people who've been in church a long time, and what makes me really ill, um, and I probably express it more than I guess anybody who is trying to keep people happy, is you can come anywhere in America to a church, and that may be uh you're coming for joy, you're coming to try to find something because you haven't found it anywhere else, but you come there and you run into the devil trying to cause distraction and not let you come so that you can get that word speaks into your life so you can have the Lord. So the devil plants little I say traps to make you think, I can't go there because they all up every time I see them, even. And that's not what church. There's been a bad perception of church. I think church is the best place in the world to be, because you need to remember, I wasn't born then, but when I look at the movements that was birthed out of the church that changed the whole world, only God can do a thing like that. It's the only institution, if you will, that has got things done, and got things done for everybody. Everybody learned something. Some people hated it because it's justice, but don't ever give up on the church. I'm telling you, I am a preacher, but I'm not one of those. I probably sound just like you, because am called from among the people to speak back to the people. I'm no better than the people. I can't jump up out of here and fly. I can't make myself appear. I'm a human being, and I am just like any other person, probably worse, because the one we need to look at is the one who can do anything, the one who can allow or send something that nobody can deal with, even the best of doctors, and we still, taking shots and don't know what it is, or not taking shots, and whatever the case be, we got to go to God. Now, I look at this right here. Don't let the devil destroy your unity. He's always trying to mess us up. Always. Always. Not sometime, or half, always trying to cause trouble. And what he does, I've noticed in this time that I've been in church, do you know that he'll use the weak to get to the strong? He'll use the weak to get up under the skin and in the minds of those who are strong. He's a trickster. Oh yeah, a liar, a robber. Take everything, and you think everything was, nice fella there, ain't he? He's a liar. Everything that you want for life in Christ, he wants to take it from you. Lucifer Morning Star. I was checking out that. I've never watched it, but I heard it was interesting, so I peeped over there, Netflix, and I checked it out. I watched enough to understand that as in that series Lucifer, it appeared to me, and this is just what I saw, that the devil had came to be in human form, and human beings are so corrupt that when the devil comes to play, he loses all his power. He starts. Hey, you know that's messed up when the devil comes to earth and he lose. We so bad he lose all his power. He start bleeding like all of us. And it. But in that, I saw something, some things that I know the devil does. He'll break up your unity. Like he was making friends, great talker, real, master liar, master manipulator. And in this text, we're gonna see how he does that. And in that series, he would in one scene, he's buddy, hey, they think he's a good guy, and in the next scene, they taking him away to jail, and there's the devil right there. Made a deal, and every time you make a deal with the devil, listen. Mm, mm. So I'd rather be just straightforward about the gospel, because if I stand up under the umbrella of God, I'll be all right until it's over. But don't ever forget, a lot of he's a trickster, he's a liar, a robber. Everything he comes to take it from you. Just and up. What did they say? In at jobs, places you may work for, they'll have something in there that says, um, if you do this, you will be up to and including termination. He wants to do everything he can to destroy us, up and including taking our lives. Lucifer Morningstar is here to take it away from you. But a lot of times, I have to think about what I say, because I'm learning that I say things that upset people. And not that I don't want to upset anybody, surely, but I don't want to just, I'm not just going to blah, 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 and knowing, unless it's just, because I'm not into the upsetting people business, but I care more about preaching the gospel than I do upsetting people, because I got to preach it even when I'm raggedy. Oh, yes. And I just heard my good friend say, even when you in a bad spot or doing the wrong thing, God, he still can come and see about you. But the devil, he's gonna leave you out there. He's not gonna come see it. But once he gets you out there, you thought you had a friend, and look, he's gone once you get out there. But we in my experience, there's been a lot of phony, fake um, words and faces that we see, and people would never be able to help the next generation, because we've never done anything wrong. We've always done it right. We've never slipped up. And see, when your testimony to help anybody, when um you don't tell your testimony, it's just impossible, because I've got to be they think I'm this, so I have to act like that, when the truth is, honey, you better just do your best to live this life, and know that you have the Lord in you. I'm talking about know for yourself that if there's any questions, please come holler at me, we'll get it right. But if there's any questions whatsoever, it's like marriage. If you have any question that you this is not the person that you all love, everything is intact. If you have any questions, don't do it. And if you have any questions about your salvation, and I think there's a lot of questions out there, because what do we hear all kinds of stuff, but you need to know for sure if you are saved. I'm trying to hit this do not disturb, because I've had somebody calling me, and I know it went off the air for a minute. So let's do that. Yeah, do not disturb is on. All right. And so I'm getting ready to go already, but I want you to see what this text is. Because before I get to this, you can't really go to bat with the devil just by your human lonesome self. It ain't gonna work. If the devil was here, listen, he shows up in chapter 3, but as we look in the Old Testament and some of the writings, you'll see that Lucifer, oh, he was there before that. And we can't fight against Satan all by ourselves. I know that you are, hey, listen, you got a Bible bigger than my house, and you got it. But listen, trust me when I tell you, Satan, he's been to places that you haven't been. He's been here way long. He knows what will cause us to go against our own people and cause a separation. So trust me when I tell you. Well, I don't know. Let me ask you. You might have some superpowers. I don't. I can't shoot bullets out of my hand. Pew, 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 pew. I can't shoot bullets out of my hand. I don't have that kind of. I'm not Spider-Man. I don't have that. Can't do it. And I got a feeling the guy who really plays Superman in real life probably can't do that. Can you shoot bullets out of your hand? I don't. You don't have to aim them at me, but if you can just show me that, listen, I promise you, I'll probably stay away from you. Not because I don't like you, but if you get upset and you don't have a mind of God, you never know how many. If you, hey, can I need somebody, if we're all of that, to just take off flying. Take off flying. I don't even think Daniel could fly. He prayed 3 times a day, but he probably had a problem flying. I can't fly. And I just need to see it for myself, because I might give you a little special. We treat superstar basketball players and football players great all the time. UFC and boxing, we treat them like they're extra because they're good in one specific thing. But I have no extra and super talented gifts that I would get recognition for. And I'm gonna tell you why we probably don't, because I told our church today, Noah built the ark by himself. God, he got the message from God, and it dropped in my spirit. The reason why people didn't listen to him and get on, not just because they was just evil people, but how many of us are going to listen to a man who's saying, come here, it's going to rain, and they had never seen rain before. It had never rained in that time. Some people said there's a canopied earth theory where before that, men could live on up to Methuselah's age, because the vapors kept the sun rays, and men and women did not get affected by the sun and all that other stuff that kills us and weighs down the human body over time. So you listening to a man, for some reason, I listen to people who sound crazy. I don't know what it is, but I think it's something to be heard from people who just, I mean, hey, listen, we would do the same thing. And you have to understand that the devil comes in ways that looks like he's no threat. Subtle. That's what subtle means. He was more craftier. And certainly people didn't think that there was going to come this stuff that I've never seen. Rain, what are you talking? He's drunk, y'all. Don't pay him no attention. His wife is going to be mad. You see that big old thing he built? And I know they broke because they ain't got no money and the bank ain't giving them none. Look, this was a real situation for Job. And I think that although we know how the story went, all of that he did, and people still drown. But again, I can't walk on water. I have no flying powers. I can't x-ray through you. I have no go-go gadget arms or none of that. I'm just a human person who lives in human nature, but I trust God that he'll cover me when I need to be covered, and he'll open me up when I need to be opened up. But whatever I do, I want to be conscious that the devil is trying to cause division. At least let's act the best we can. Well, it's hard. when you go to church one day of the week, if we go, because we got these virtual services where I can sit right home and look like I'm at church. Oh my God, I don't have to go, which for most people don't mean I don't have to give. But listen, don't ever forsake this whole world. It seems like my wife took a picture of me preaching and I was in a hurry, and my hair, was not the best. Hey, you had to see me how I am. But when she took that picture, it looked like my hair was Listen, a lot of people getting over until they get to see people in real life, don't they? It'd be like Smokey. Why you introduce me to him? But anyway, filters, they tell a lot of fake stuff, and that's my only point. A lot of us are like those filters. You don't see the real, unmakeup, undone version, but you'll see that fake stuff because I've got to be this, and I can't allow myself to be out there doing that because I'm this and I'm better. Listen, we all jacked up, and that's how the devil gets in the mind. I tell our people, if you're a superhuman and turn yourself into a pile of money, that way we can go deposit you in the bank. And once you get in the bank, you can just turn yourself back and bail out of there. That sounds like a good idea. At least we won't have to worry about church resources and where we can get stuff to feed the hungry. Do something like that. I won't have to try and stretch my mind so far. And any pastor who deals with the after COVID situation, and some people having to pay those loans back, ain't they? Hey, it really in a jam now. But nobody that I talk to on a regular basis has more power than a doorknob. And you gotta engage that doorknob to get through that door safely. So I never understood why we put so much stock in humans. And I've seen people, we do stuff like this, and I see it, and some of you have done it. I have seen people, somebody come up and they think they can trust them. Girl, is how I look in this dress? And you can already tell they don't think they look too hot in the suit or the dress or the tie or whatever it is, because they come up to you. How do I look in this? Already cut. And they say, girl, you look fabulous. You getting ready you finna hit the big time. And as soon as they out of sight, they turn around, girl, she need to take that off. Why didn't you say that to them? Why didn't you say that you're a Christian? You go to church, you hard on the preacher. Let's be hard on you. Stop all that nonsense. They'll do it in a minute. Hey, listen, I've been black all of my life. And not only did you have to be black to see that, because all kinds of people have that, but I know how people that I came up around are, and I know that right there is not good, because if we say we Christians and we want to hold one accountable, listen, you can't say nothing about nobody else if your mind is not on this. Can't say nothing about the preacher, the deacon, the whoever. Don't be deceived, sisters and brothers. Don't give Satan what he wants to destroy the church and make a fool of us. He's always working and plotting to make church folk look bad. He's always coming because he knows the church folk have what it takes, or God will give us what it takes for his job to be extremely hard to send to take people with him. Church is the only place I know, and church folk are the only people I know that people would do wrong intentionally to cover up something that they did, but then the leaders get blamed. Instead of coming together and praying for each other, we go to battle against one another. Instead of loving one another, caressing and caring each other, we're trying to get over on each other. He didn't intend on church people to be failures, but he wants us to succeed and be in unity together. That's why we should never forsake the assembly of us gathering together. And I must confess that even myself, because I can't fly either, I want to be like the Lord. I try, but I'm just going to tell you, I'm not the standard. I'm not the one that you look at and say, now no, 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 no. I'm going to point you to the Lord. That way people will not think that I'm something that I can just, yeah, I don't need my car. I'm just going to fly out of here. I'm not going to even try and walk on water because it's too much for me to drink. And I'm going to be honest. I don't have a Peter's, mentality. Well, the cussing part, maybe. Listen, they on the boat, they the boat people. And Peter is the only one who got this. And Lord, well, if it's you, bid me come to you on the water. And he took off walking. Wouldn't have happened if it was me. I'm just being honest with you. You can look at me if you want to. If there's an opportunity for me to be great and walk on water, I failed that one. I love the Lord, and you can say what you want to, but I'm like, I'm gonna be looking. I might be the second one to go out there, but hey, brother, because soon as I would have seen him starting to sink, I told you that's what we do. But how much Christian are we? Oh man, I talk about it, and I have some more people not liking me, but we have situations every day, and we see it. We see people going down. We see people who have hit a bad time in life, and we sit there and what do? Exactly. We just sit there. We just look at them, and we watch them go all the way down and never lift up a finger to try and help. Well, that ain't none of my business. Well, it's you talking about them. Well, how is it not? If you talking about them when they get locked up, then you start talking, or when they fall all the way down, then you start. Oh, I can't believe that he did that. I didn't know she had. Shut up. Instead of trying to help somebody, I had just got finished preaching this sermon, and right, because people don't listen, especially when you saying stuff that it's a double-edged sword. It cuts going in, and it's gonna get you. So I think the only way to do is to try your best. Stop trying to be so. I met people, and I knew that I knew, people you come up with, and somehow they grow into they still broke, but they have this attitude. They still don't have anything, but they have this like, some people won't speak to you until you speak to them. That's just how life is. I don't care if they go to church every Sunday. There are some people in life, and they'll let you know, well, she didn't speak to me. And when I hear stuff like that, I say, man, that's a Christian ad. Wow. Well, if it was me, I know I would catch hell. If they be talking about me, I might as well give it on to them. And I got to say, what do you mean? You don't, such and such didn't speak to me. Well, the first question, did you speak to them? And if you didn't, why? So what? People don't speak to you. Hey, I speak anyway. So what? People don't like you. Don't let what they think about you mess up you. I've done that before. That's why I can say that. The stuff that we learn and come up with, it's just, hey, listen, when they have took you from your homeland, put you off in the darkest places and the poorest places, and then they turn around and say, oh, he's poor. Me? I'm poor? Well, how did I get here? All dignified and poor. Get up, dust yourself off, get focused, stay away from folk who don't mean you no good. Look, the very first thing before you even get up, you got to look up. That's where we think heaven is. We got to look up. And because if you keep looking down, that's what most people, heaven, hell, and the Bible, the deeps of the earth. But here it is. And I want you to hear this clearly. Look up, because if you're looking down, you're going to run into something. Look up. And if you look, please lift your head up, because it's going to be all right. Dust yourself off. Get back focused. Don't worry about what they say. News, they're going to talk about everybody. You're going to do some things. You need, first thing, we got to trust Jesus. Stop making excuses. for why we not doing what we supposed to be doing. Stop. The devil made me do it. Well, I think we give the devil too much credit. Sometimes that's in you, and you're wanting to do it because you want to do it. God always gives you a way of escape, provides that. So stop. I didn't say this at church today, but since we're on Facebook, I think I better say this. Well, no, I didn't say it because you got to be, hey, listen, the Lord is in charge of the word. And I just believe what's said needs to be said, and what's not said didn't need to be said. And even if it did, God will take it and use it, and it won't fall, on deaf ears. When you look at the text, and I'm out, Genesis chapter 3. Well, first of all, when you look at Genesis in the canon that we have, the collection of books that we have, it is the first book of the Bible, Genesis. Genesis. When you think of Genesis, what do you think of? The first thing I think of is the Bible, the first book of the Bible. And then I think of Phil Collins. So take, they're going to get me for copyright in here. I think of Genesis, the group they was in. We was listening to Genesis the other day. Phil Collins, awesome voice. That's the type of music when I was coming up that was played before a lot of rap got on the air. But when I think of Genesis, the main thing I think of is the first book of the Holy Writ. As we who have been in traditional American churches, black or white, Genesis is where it all began. And when you look at the word in the Hebrew or the Greek, it means several different words. Genesis means several different meanings. It has several different, like love. We say, I love you. And we say, I love you to our wife. I love you to our brother. I love you to our cousin. And that's what it means. But the word love breaks down in so many forms. And that's why I believe there's a love problem over here, because probably in the whole world, because I love you. We equals love to good treatment and hate to bad treatment. But what is love? Because if we really love, then something that's meant for good would never be manipulated and used, taken for granted. But nevertheless, this word Genesis is several different meanings, but the main emphasis of the word Genesis, it emphasizes saying this is the beginning. This word translates in the original Hebrew and Greek into several different words, but the main emphasis of the word is the beginning. I don't know about you, but this is where I'm going to stop right here, because this is where I felt that a sermon could be preached right here, if the Lord wants me to preach it. Because when you look at Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, what does it say? And look here, I know what it says, but I'm going to look at several different versions of the scripture, and then I'm out. Because if we really believe this, if we really knew this, I probably wouldn't have to ask the Lord to cover me, because I and everybody else would have a high regards for God. We can't believe it. Look at the world. In the beginning, God, NIV. KJV, King James Version. In the beginning, God. Now, the Message version, it's going to be a little differently, because that's a paraphrased Bible. What are you saying? It's not like the New Revised Standard Version, or even the King James Version. Those versions are well, the New Revised Standard Version, which is one I really like, if I really want to know what the best translation for American tongue, I would probably go with the New Revised, because you have scholars who are there, and that's all they do. They are really diving into the word for to really that's their life's work. So you have scholars who actually knew Hebrew and who actually knew the original language, which nobody probably knows that, unless you've been in academia or something like that. And they actually took it. And the King James Version, I hate to tell you, especially if you've been reading it all your life, I think it's good. I think it's great, especially for the psalm. Things don't sound right. Listen to this. First, this, God. That's the Message Bible. Somebody actually them translated. So it would be a good idea while I'm talking about this is go to the beginning. And this is not the Bible. This is actually my uncle's book right here that I'm in the process of reading. But you open the Bible and you get to see right here. It's time to make your move. My uncle Eddie said, you ought to check it out. I think this writer right here is worthy, and I think he's a great man. And I'm going to read this book. I got it a long time ago, but hey, I think that, and I believe this is a credible book. Well, with the Bible, it's not a bad idea to just look and see. It's going to tell you in the beginning. I wish I had my NRSV. I'd let you know. But I if you ever want to see, just look at all of them. I mean, the Message Bible, we see that's a translation. Everything else says in the beginning. Let's see what the NRSV says. In the beginning, when God. That's the NRSV. Remember, they took it and they actually compared it to the actual original language. Now, King James Version, not quite so. In my training, in my teaching, I've learned that the King James Version was a Bible that was created in the honor of a king, because he was, you look that up and then you'll see it. Because if I say it and you've never heard it, I talk to traditional church people, it's gonna sound like I've lost my mind. But I never will forget, I was working at this place, and I told this guy, he was bent on the King James. He wouldn't get off. Well, that doesn't make any sense. That's not the King James. I don't read that. And yeah, I can be rather, some people say that I'm and the more I look at myself, I think I am, because when I see people are so bent on one thing and they have no evidence that anything, I say stuff like blah 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 blah, blah. And then when you get back to work tomorrow, just tell me what you think. And this dude went and looked it up. The whole ship, I'm waiting. I'm like, I knew something was wrong, because he usually speaks to me every day, and he wasn't being ugly, but I had to go find him. Well, did you look it up? Did you look it up? What'd you think? You were right. And I'm like, you never thought to even look at that? As a Bible reader, as a Christian churchgoer, you never thought to investigate? I never seen King James in the Bible itself. I mean, the word Bible is not even in the Bible. So I have to wonder, because I'm, Curious George here, and you'll find out some interesting things that you didn't know that might be handy for you to know. Don't take away from it. It does not take away from it, but it's interesting. But nonetheless, even the New King James says in the beginning. My point is, it says in the beginning, me. Let me tell you something. If it said in the beginning, me, listen, that would have been it, because that probably wouldn't go much further. I'd have got happy out there by myself in the dark with the waters moving upon the earth, but there was nothing was formed. I'd probably like that pretty good. Like Tupac said, the worst case scenario, no nothing, don't have to deal with this. But God done what he done. He created, and I stop right here. If we really believed in the beginning God, a lot of stuff that we do, he's watching. If we really believed in the beginning God, I think life would be a lot different. Oh, God don't handle his accounts in one day. And I got a feeling that in our one day, because 1,000 years to God is of one day. Remember, he told Adam and Eve, the day you eat of this fruit, you'll surely die. Well, that was the day that they got cut off from God because of disobedience. In the beginning, it don't even say Lucifer, Satan, devil, God. I know that he is the first and the last, just as sure as he was in the beginning when nothing was formed. Hey, in eternity, he's going to be there. And I don't care who you are. The doors of the church are open. I can hear Noah saying, it's going to rain. I hear Paul saying, hey, Timothy, young Timothy, you know, Eunice's and their son and grandson, Lois and Eunice. I hear Paul telling him, hey, I need you to go get my coat because it's coming. Autumn leaves are falling. And we got to hey, make sure that the Lord is in our heart. Autumn leaves are coming. The winter, it's on its way. And I don't want to be caught in the cold. I turned the heat up, but listen, that's not going to stop. That's what the world do. We put filters in place and we make all this stuff look fake so it'll feel safe. But honey, look, hey, I don't care how much heat you got, it's still coming. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. You get to chapter 3, you see after he's created the heavens and the earth, and he's created man and woman, bam, there he is. Oh, he's a little sneaky. The serpent was more cunning. New King James, they try to clean it up a little bit. Because subtle, what does subtle mean? Unless you're an educated person who deals with that word on a regular, what is subtle? Well, we read the Bible. Now, the serpent was more subtle. I got to look that up. Now, we'll keep on reading. And hey, I don't care how dumb I am. I don't mind going to look a word up. How you spell that again? I don't mind, because if we didn't have another version, we would be. And another thing about the King James language, listen to this. And I've taken too long already. But King James, we don't talk like that anymore. Thy wife will go get me a glass of water. Well, she'll look at me like I'm crazy. Cunning, crafty, discerning. Oh, that's the serpent who came to Eve. And I don't have enough time because I'm going to let you go like I promised. There we are. That's why you got to put on Do Not Disturb. Crafty. He's crafty. And I really want to, Lord knows I need to say this, but I don't want to prolong the evening. But I need to tell you, in the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. But in chapter 3, that serpent comes. And you notice how he maneuvers. Slick, ain't he? Let's just go ahead and say it. He put a fast one over Eve's. He put a fast one. He's more cunning than any of the beasts of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, has God indeed said, you should not eat of the tree of the garden? As God said it. There's a lot to unwrap here. There's a lot to unwrap here. And I might as well not even get into it because I got to go. And I know some of my people are going to bed, they'll see it when they get up. But God did all of this. Look at all the work he done. In chapter 2, thus the heavens and the earth and all the host of them were finished. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day. God did all that work, and the devil comes around right behind him. You know, that's like a bad that's like well, what can I say? That's like maybe two parents who are not on the same page, or maybe a pastor and maybe an associate minister. I never gave any of my pastors any trouble because I knew that the Lord had called me to go do what they was doing, and you know, I just leave and let, hey, I can't go with that, gotta go. But I don't give I didn't give them any trouble because I knew one day I would pastor, and regardless if I hey, listen, you want to be a good servant, because the way you are to others, you reap what you sow. I'll just say that. So, but there I've seen situations where, you know, the pastor and somebody not agreeing, and it's like a bad associate minister. You might not know that they was talking crazy about you till they gone on, and you know, one of them is probably not right. And I would think it would be the person who didn't get their way, or they had some type of motivation and didn't go their way. Lucifer was cast out. They whooped him out of heaven, y'all. I mean, he fought with the dragon, and I heard one preacher say, and beat him out of heaven. And he's not very happy about that. Um, and he comes just to show. Look, if the devil will come in front of the Lord and say, I'm going to and fro, seeing who I can devour. If he says that to the Lord, who are you? I'm going to listen. I'm like Adam. Adam, what are you doing wrong over there? Try to hide himself. I was naked, Lord. Well, how in the world did you know that? I didn't create you to have that kind of. You supposed to be naked and unashamed. Now you naked and ashamed because the devil has disobedience caused separation. And I'm gone. Don't let him come in and cause division. And we in church, we adapt to whatever feels the best. And a lot of times we'll take on things of the world. Oh, trust me, you know, listen, it depends on the situation. We all good until we get to that situation. And then we like the last style bender. We do things that ain't nobody ever seen because it's, you know, that's how life is. But don't let the devil. I got a picture of Jesus hanging up right there. And I pass it every day. And I look at that picture and I said, oh, sorry, Jesus. He sees everything, and he knows that he knows it all. So I try, don't get it right, but I try to remember Jesus is always. Have y'all seen my Jesus picture? A fella at work gave me that one time when I worked over there. He said, I got something you might like. Now, when I looked at it, I was shocked, and I was like, man, you're right. He said, somebody gave me this and I'm giving it to you. And I appreciate that. He could not dare have that hanging up in his house, picture of Jesus on the wall. Oh, Lord. But I do. And I have to go by here every day because I want to make, you ever know how pictures, when they look, it look like they looking at you. You can go way over there, look like the eyes looking at you. You can be way over here, look like that. That's how that picture is. I don't care if I'm over there, it looks like the eye. I don't know how pictures do that, but his eyes are on and he's looking serious too. His eyes are on every person. There's a hawk who can look into and see, he can see his food from thousands of feet in the air. And I'm doing good as I get older to see the food right in front of me. But the hawkeye is not the best eye. An eagle can look into direct sunlight and never blink his eye. And I can't even go outside. You can't turn the light on for me if it's been dark. I'm trying to cover my eyes. But there's one eye that I know that's better than the best eye. And that's the eyes of the Lord. His eye, just like it's on the sparrow, the Bible says his eyes are on every person in every place. I let you go right then, but Jesus, and I'm really speaking of the real Lord. The real Lord. We have versions of Jesus that we adopt that has nothing to do with him at all. Just like they had laws besides the 10 Commandments, they had other laws, and a lot of them had nothing to do with things of God. Like laws of today, they make laws to do stuff that's going to benefit. But God's laws, he's an equal opportunity God. All right, y'all, I'm done. There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving this old way. If your soul's not anchored in the Lord, it will surely drift away, drift away. If it will surely drift away. If your soul's not, I'll show you let me see which way do we go. Is it that way? I can't see it. How do I do it? If your soul is not anchored in Jesus, I can't turn it around to show you. It will surely drift away. There's a storm out on the ocean. I'll see y'all later. And it's moving this old way.